The morning air was crisp, a faint chill lingering in the autumn breeze as Naomi Carter stepped out of her car. The towering glass structure of Langston Global Industries loomed before her. At 35, Naomi was the epitome of success, sharp, capable, and fiercely intelligent. Dressed in a sleek black suit, her natural curls tied back in a bun, she was ready for what should have been a monumental day. After nearly a decade of dedication and relentless work, today was the day she expected to be promoted to Vice President of Operations, a position she had earned through blood, sweat, and tears. Naomi had started at Langston Global as an intern, working her way up the ladder with quiet, unshakable determination. She had long ago learned to ignore the undercurrent of racism and sexism that permeated corporate culture. The comments, the side glances, the subtle undermining of her authority. She had faced it all, but she never let it stop her. Instead, she stayed late, worked weekends, and outperformed her peers, believing that her hard work and dedication would eventually break through the glass ceiling. As she made her way through the sleek, marble-floored lobby, her colleagues glanced her way. Some offered polite nods. Others gave half-hearted smiles. They all knew today was the big day. Ethan Grayson, her colleague and a man with far less experience than her, had been hovering around the rumor mill, acting as if the position was his. But Naomi knew better. She had put in the work. She deserved this. When she entered the boardroom, her heart raced. The room was already filled with the familiar faces of the company's top executives, most of them older white men seated around the long, polished table. At the head of the table sat Charles Langston, the company's CEO, a man whose presence commanded the room. His graying hair and tailored suit gave him an air of superiority, one that had always made Naomi feel as though she was fighting a battle on multiple fronts. Naomi took her seat near the middle of the table, trying to steady her breathing. She had prepared for this day for years. Her performance had been flawless, her department thriving under her leadership. She had received glowing reviews from her direct reports. Everything pointed to this promotion. Charles stood up, flashing his trademark smile. "Thank you all for being here," he began, his voice carrying a weight that quieted the room instantly. "As you all know, we're here to announce the promotion of a new Vice President of Operations. This individual has shown exemplary leadership and has proven their dedication to the company." Naomi leaned forward slightly, bracing herself. This was it. "I'm thrilled to announce that the new vice president will be—" Charles paused for effect, his eyes scanning the room. Naomi could feel the tension in her chest rise. Her heart pounded in her ears. "Ethan Grayson." A round of applause erupted around the table. Naomi sat frozen. Her mind raced, struggling to catch up. Ethan Grayson? He had only been with the company for 3 years, and his projects were lackluster at best. He was known more for his charm and ability to network than his actual performance. How could they choose him? Ethan stood up, beaming, shaking hands with the other executives as if this had all been preordained. Charles smiled at him, clearly proud of his decision, and the rest of the room followed suit. Naomi's throat tightened. She fought to keep her expression neutral, but inside, she was seething. This wasn't just about the promotion. It was about something deeper, something she had been battling her entire career. She had seen it time and time again. Less qualified men, especially white men, getting opportunities that were denied to her. The room began to clear, people congratulating Ethan as they left. Naomi remained in her seat, her fingers gripping the edge of the table. She felt Charles's presence behind her before she saw him. "Naomi," he said in a tone that was almost dismissive, "I know this is disappointing, but your time will come." She turned to face him, her eyes hard. "Why wasn't I considered?" she asked, keeping her voice steady though anger simmered beneath the surface. Charles smiled, the kind of condescending smile that made her want to scream. "Naomi, you're talented. No one doubts that. But Ethan is, well, he's just a better fit for the company right now. You need more time, more experience. Keep doing what you're doing, and you'll get there." Naomi clenched her jaw. More experience? She had been here longer than Ethan, produced better results, and led her team with more success. But none of that mattered. Apparently, What Charles really meant was that Ethan was more comfortable for the company's image, someone who fit the mold they were used to. She forced a nod. "Thank you for the feedback," she said, her voice cold and formal. Charles nodded as if satisfied with her compliance and left the room. As the door clicked shut, Naomi let out a shaky breath, her hands trembling with suppressed fury. This wasn't about experience. This was about something deeper, something systemic. The unspoken rules of corporate America had struck again, and this time, it felt personal. Naomi sat alone in the now empty boardroom, her heart still racing with a mixture of anger and disbelief. How could they have overlooked her? She had outperformed everyone in her department, including Ethan Grayson. Yet, once again, it was clear that merit alone wasn't enough. She had to navigate the unspoken obstacles that were always there but rarely acknowledged: race, gender, and power. Her phone buzzed on the table. It was a message from her best friend and mentor, Camille Lawson, one of the few other Black women in leadership at Langston Global. How did it go? Naomi's fingers hovered over the screen as she debated what to say. Should she admit defeat? Should she vent her frustration? They gave it to Ethan. She finally typed, hitting send. Almost immediately, her phone rang. It was Camille. "I'm so sorry." Camille's voice was calm but filled with understanding. "I was afraid this might happen." Naomi stood up, walking over to the large windows that overlooked the city. The skyline was a familiar sight, one she had grown used to over the years. But now it felt distant, as if her connection to the company, to the work, was starting to unravel. "Afraid?" Naomi's voice was tight. "I worked harder than anyone. This promotion was mine. What more could I have done?" Camille sighed on the other end of the line. "You know how it works, Naomi. It's not just about the work. It's never been just about the work. These decisions come down to comfort. And Ethan, he's someone they're comfortable with." Naomi's stomach twisted. Comfort. That word echoed in her mind, seeping into every frustration she had ever felt in her career. She wasn't a safe choice for them. She wasn't the face they wanted for their next executive. No matter how much she excelled, she would always be the one fighting to prove she belonged in spaces that weren't designed for her. She clenched her fist. No, she wasn't giving up. "I know you won't," Camille said, as if reading her thoughts. "But you need to be smart about your next move. They want you to fade into the background, to just accept this and stay in your place. Don't give them the satisfaction." Naomi leaned her forehead against the glass, her mind racing. "What can I do?" "Play the long game," Camille advised. "This isn't just about this promotion. It's about the bigger picture." Naomi exhaled. The anger inside her cooled into something else: determination. She wasn't done yet. She was just getting started.